I'm José Manuel García-Lomas Allen-Perkins, President and first Consultant of García-Lomas Allen-Perkins, the ADO Corporation. Today we begin with this video the development of something so vital in the business world, such as the techniques for the development of successful negotiations. It is well known that humanity, the human being, has evolved over millions of years to what we are today. And human evolution has not only been physical, but also psychic and of the soul and spirit. We will see how all this has a lot to do with negotiation techniques. Indeed, humanity has been evolving for millennia and will continue to do so in the future. There was an ancient time that we could situate it in the epoch of Chaldea, of Egypt, of Babylon, of Sumer, the land of biblical Abraham, the Urita, because he was born in Ur, the Sumeria capital, in which the humanity at general level unfold what is denominated the sentient soul, with feelings of continuity, sociability, organization, sensitivity. The tribe, the clan, the family emerge as social expressions of the sentient soul. But then man in general was not very rational. Then came the Greco-Latin era, where the light of reason emerges. It is the epoch where the human being unfolds the rational soul, with abilities such as reasoning, analyzing, investigating, inventing, and separating. But the human being was not very tolerant. And we arrive at the present time, the 21st century, where humanity has already been developing and will continue for a long time, deploying what is called the consciousness soul, with faculties to know, to understand, synthesize, intuition, tolerate. We have already pointed out in other videos that the human being of the 19th century and earlier times was basically emotional rational, and that if in some way we differ from our peers of the 19th century and earlier times, is what now is the 21st century, we are more rational, emotional, or as we said, we should be, because still many people are anchored in the 19th century and earlier times more than at present. That is to say, the emotional in many occasions is put before the purely rational. The truth is that many of us still have minds and ideas more like the 19th century negotiators, having 21st century tools and technology like computers, psychological knowledge, aspects of human behavior, and more. In any case, we already know that the human soul not only has a rational part in thinking and an emotional part in feeling, but there is a third element in the human soul, that is the will, the operating will, the action. Thinking, feeling, and willing are the true tripartite of the human soul. Even the human being remains a mystery. In short, someone said that the evolution of the human being is explained by the evolution of a consciousness in the human beings, and that from an unconsciousness in the past, we walk towards a greater consciousness in the present, the consciousness soul present, and towards a supraconsciousness in the future. And what is negotiating? It is the process of recognizing and satisfying needs by both sides, seller and customer. In negotiation, everything depends on each of the actors and their behavior. And what is a formal negotiation situation? A formal negotiation situation occurs when one or more representatives of two or more parties meet in an explicit attempt to reach an acceptable agreement by all parties on one or more divisible points. The key concepts are: 1. Formal, with that objective; 2. Representatives of the parties' authority; 3. Explicit, authentic, and deliberate attempt to reach agreement on the point 4. Point 4. Divisible points or independent issues on which one would like to reach agreement. Differences between sale and negotiation. In sales, the salesman and the client play their role. That is to say, the salesman knows that he is the salesman and that he has to sell, whereas the client knows well his position of client and the force that it entails, since it comes to him to sell the salesperson. In negotiations, roles are sometimes exchanged, and the seller becomes the customer of the customer's proposals, the other party with whom he negotiates, who now tries to sell him his proposals, and the supposed customer also sometimes becomes the seller of his proposals to the seller, who now becomes his customer. In the sales, in many occasions, it is not possible for the seller to give in, while the negotiation situation is consubstantial to having to give in. Seller and customer are willing to give in. At the sale, the customer says, "Sell me," to the seller. In the negotiation, customer and seller want to meet and are willing to give in part of their positions. Remember, negotiation is the process of recognizing and satisfying needs, but on both sides of both the negotiator seller and the other negotiating party, the customer. Therefore, empathy is even more important in a negotiation situation than in a sales situation. Now I propose you, as we have done in previous videos, an interesting questionnaire with 10 statements that can be answered with correct if what it says that seems to me correct, or with incorrect if what it says there seems to me incorrect. After each statement, I will mark a pause if you want to stop the video and think what the answer is, and then I will give the correct answer with the appropriate explanation. Let us start the questionnaire that is called "What do you know about negotiations?" 1. The main objective of a course of negotiation is to add new knowledge to the participants. And the answer is incorrect. We are in the business world, and the world of the business of the company is a world of action. Therefore, in this world, the main objective is knowledge, but to action that change things for the better. If we were in the university and they made us an examination on a subject when demonstrating our knowledge, surely we would obtain a good grade, because knowledge is in it the objective. But in the business world, knowledge is a means to improve actions such as increasing company results. 2. Of the 4 negotiators listed below, you would surely choose the number 2.1, the emotional rationale, as the best to negotiate with you. Wouldn't you? To 1, the emotional rational. To 2, the win-lose. To 3, the least experience in negotiations. To 4, the one with great experience in negotiations. And the answer is wrong. Negotiating with an emotional rational has to be frankly complicated, for it is difficult to find a way of the logic of reason. It is much more complicated to find a way of the logic of emotion. Besides, an emotional rational is unpredictable. 3. And the 2.4, the one of great experience in negotiation of the negotiators we just pointed out, it would be the least good to negotiate with you, wouldn't it? And the answer is wrong. If we were in a sales situation, it could be that the experienced salesperson was looking to make us a win-lose. But we are in negotiation, and an experienced negotiator, even if he could make us a win-lose, knows that it could be bread for today, hunger for tomorrow. He will therefore seek the goal of the successful negotiator, who is a win-win result. There is an anecdote about negotiation many years ago between Baron de Rothschild and the other party in New York. At a certain moment, the other party, seeing the Baron of Rothschild did not react and remained in a deep mutism despite the many advantages they were offering him in the negotiation. They asked him, "Mr. Baron, is that you do not see what are you going to gain in this negotiation?" And the Rothschild's Baron, coming out of his silence, answered them, Yes, of course I see what I'm going to win, but what worries me is that I do not just see that you win with all this." 4. Personally, what kind of negotiator of those 4 do you dislike most? To 1, to 2, to 3, to 4. Mark it yourself. And the answer is 2 is usually the win-lose. 5. What is our best quality as negotiators? Please write them down. Some of the group that come out are empathy, win-win oriented, in the sense that everybody wins something, flexibility, perseverance, generate trust, etc. 6. And what are our greatest weaknesses as negotiators? Please write them down. Some of the group that come out are to be emotional rational, win-lose, ready to yield, let's say to be a lose-win, impatient in a hurry, etc. 7. Is negotiating comparable to a structured game such as tennis, football, etc.? And the answer is wrong. In negotiation there are no rigid rules where there are in a structured game. Besides, in a structured game there is a winner and a loser in the end, while in a successful negotiation the win-win is sought, that is to say, a certain tie. 8. Do we believe in intuition when negotiating? And the answer is right. Statistically, it is proven that there are more people who believe in intuition than people who do not believe in intuition. The problem will come in the difficulty of agreeing on what we call intuition. 9. Is the first exposition disclosure which is done in negotiation a weakness? And the answer is wrong. It is a positive thing because it shows our willingness to approach the other party in search of a positive encounter for both parties. And 10. Is bullying a good negotiating tactic? And the answer is wrong. It provokes negative attitudes or reactions and new resistances. Do you find this negotiations questionnaire interesting? Didn't you? I'm sure you did. In next videos we are going to continue deepening in this so important topic about negotiation techniques that affect us as leaders, directors and commercials, as for any person who has to face negotiation situations. If you are interested in our videos, I suggest that you give a like and subscribe to our channel for the videos that are to come.